Yeah, we back, baby. Keeping it real. Who That Sports Pod? Dolph Jackson, Coach Rock, presented by the Come On In Sports Network. Who That Nation, how you doing? Come on in. Take a seat, it's all good, you're amongst friends. Breaking news, interviews, Saints Juice. Open lines up just for you. 9 ball, 10 ball, where you at? 12 ball, 15, where you at? 3rd ball, 17, where you at? 9th ball, all the way in the back. Uptown, baby, downtown, baby. Everybody represent black and gold, baby. Uptown, baby, downtown, baby. Everybody represent black and gold, baby. Who that? Who that? Who that saying they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that saying they gon' beat them Saints? Who That Nation? How you doing, baby? Come on in. Take a seat. Sit back, relax. Put your feet up. Grab a drink and let's talk Saints football. Y'all know what time it is. Time to keep it real. Let's go. Family, family, family. The doors are now open, so come on in. What's going on, family? It's your boy, Dolph Jackson. This is the Keeping It Real Who That Sports Podcast. We're brought to you by the Come On In Sports Network, and this is your Saints Juice of the Day. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. We know the All-Star game gets started in a few hours. And listen, I wrote an article about that on my Substack channel, man. Go give it a read, man, and give me your feedback. What you think about the All-Star, man? Remember, All-Star Saturday night used to be a big time adventure, man. It ain't that no more. But we'll discuss that on a later show. Today, while we're here to talk about a young man that overcame some serious life-altering health concerns about his career. And of course, today's show is all about All-Pro Saints wide receiver Chris Olave. At one time, is Chris Olave a true number one? Can he be a true number one? And then it was, can this young man even survive another season? 2026, Chris Olave will be heading into his 4th season as a member of the New Orleans Saints. Concussions, his first 2 seasons, put this young man's career in jeopardy. And here on this show and countless others, you heard everyone say the most important thing is that young man's health. The hell with football. That's where I was with it. You got to survive. You got to operate beyond the football field. And that's what it came down to me for Chris Olave. But this past season, Chris Olave was able to bounce back in a big way. In the early part of the season, the first half of the season, Chris had his moments where he wasn't quite looking like himself. Now, that could be because of the continuity between him and then starting quarterback Spencer Rattler. But the second half of the season, when a certain Shuck was inserted, Chris Olave's game went up. We all remember the drop against the Dolphins that could have potentially won that game. A lot of us, including yours, we were upset. I was upset. I was like, come on, man. Number 1 receivers make that catch. If you're going to be a number 1 receiver, you want to be considered a number 1 receiver, you want to be considered a superstar in this league, you got to make that catch. And to his credit, after that, Chris Olave, he was already having a good season, but it picked up even more. Chris Olave finished the season his 3rd as an All-Pro wide receiver. I'm going to say it again, 100 catches and as an All-Pro wide receiver. Chris Olave is number one here in New Orleans. I believe Devon Vele is number two. Who's going to be that third receiver? A lot of people are banking on Jalen Polk. Of course, the Saints did trade for Jalen Polk, knowing that he was going to be hurt and he wouldn't be able to help them in 2025, but they were looking forward to the 2026 season. Will the Saints go in the draft? Will they bring in a Cornell Tate, who has openly made it known he would love to play for the New Orleans Saints and catch passes from quarterback Tyler Shuck? So today's show, family, is about Chris Olave. And we're going to break down, we're going to go beyond the numbers. I went beyond the numbers, beyond just the top of the stats, you know, just the regular stats. I wanted to deep dive into the season that Chris Olave had. And I found some things out and I discovered some things that I think is going to be very intriguing to you all. But before we get into that, I see the family is coming in the building, baby. They're spreading the word, baby. Dolph is live, baby. It's Sunday, baby. Dolph is back, baby. Let's go to the chat. See who's in the chat. He's already here. You already know. Come on in. The one and only Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry, how you doing? Come on in. Uncle Jerry's in the building, baby. Who else is in there? Landing Game 16. How you doing? Come on in. All right. Who else we got in the building, baby? Mr. Barron 1132. How you doing? Come on in. Thank everybody who was tuning in right now. Now, baby, let's get to why we're here. Like I said, Chris Olave's 2025 season ended with the young man being named an All-Pro. We remember the game against Carolina, the touchdown pass he caught, and how that was him returning to the scene of the crime where he had got injured the previous season, an injury that had that young man contemplating whether to continue his NFL career. So what I did, I wanted to take a look at first at Chris Olave's third down performances in the 2025 season. And so what I did, we decided to break it down by the coverages that he ran and the success rate on those routes that the young man ran this past season. So right here, as you all can see, against cover 3, he ran 47 routes against cover 3 this past season. And he feasted on it. He had 7 catches for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns with a success rate of 57%. Against cover 1, he ran that route 35 times. He caught 12 balls for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns for a 75% success rate. Now, cover 4, he would face cover 4 25 times this season and run a route against cover 4. And he had 4 catches for 42 yards and 1 touchdown against cover 4, 50%. Against cover 2, he ran 23 routes, 4 catches, 59 yards. 4 catches for 59 yards for 100%, meaning he caught all 4 targets. Against cover 0, he ran routes against cover 0 8 times. He was able to bring in 2 of those for 21 yards. Cover 6, he faced cover 6 times, and he didn't record a catch, yards, or anything against cover 6. In the red zone, he had 1 catch for 3 yards and a touchdown, and he ran only 2 routes in the red zone. A cover 2 man, he was hold on, let me get that up there for that cover 2 man. All right. Against cover two, here it is. Against cover two, he was 100%. 4 catches, and all 4 catches went for a first down. So against cover two, Chris Olave, he excelled against cover two. Against cover one, I mean, look at the rate: 12 catches, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns for a 75% success rate against cover 6. So against man coverage and soft zone concepts, he was most effective in these areas this past season. St. Doug, how you doing? Come on in. Who that to you, my brother? Thank you for being here. So Chris Olave, again, he excelled there. His most frequent coverages that he saw, the most frequent coverages that he saw were cover 3. Again, as we saw in the chart that we began this with, he ran 47 routes against cover 3, which was the most common coverage that Chris would face for the season. Now, his success rate was moderate against cover 3 at 57.1%. Now, his overall third down production, he ran 153 routes on third down this past season. He ran 153 routes. He had 30 catches for 381 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he had an overall success rate of 70%. 21 of the 30 catches, now this is key, 21 of his 30 catches on third down this past season resulted in first downs. Chain mover, money down. Chris Olave came through on third down for the Saints this season. 21 of 30 going for a first down. That's an excellent ratio. Now, dog, how you get to this? Well, simply put, what I did, I used the 2025 regular season stats. You analyze the routes that he ran with the receptions and yards and the touchdowns and first downs that he converted on third down against, the specific coverages like cover 3, cover 4, cover 6, and so on. And thus you calculate the success rate and the production. So Chris Olave, 21 catches on third down this past season. So Randy, how you doing? Randy's in the building. Come on in. What's going on, Randy? Thank you for being here, my brother. Let's go a little further. That's the third down production right there we're speaking of. That's Chris Olave on third down. Now, Chris Olave versus the NFC South. Whoa, now we're talking. Favorite routes versus the NFC South. The Falcons, the Panthers, the Bucks. Hitch route. He ran a hitch route 50 times against NFC South opponents. 50 times. He would run that concept, the hitch route. He had 9 catches, 72 yards. Average 1.44 yards per reception. Hold on, let me get that right. So on those catches, on that hitch route, yards he had, yards per route were at 1.44. Now, the next route that most popular route that was ran against the NFC South competition was the go route. On the go route, he was targeted 10 times. He came away with 3 catches for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. This past season, I believe Chris Olave became a more viable downfield threat. We know he can run, but I don't think we saw enough of that early on in his Saints career of him being able to take the top off the defense or get behind the defense. Of course, for the last 2 years, he had Rashid Shaheed before he got traded this past season. And it was kind of looking like Chris Olave was becoming that intermediate to short possession wide receiver. Another area that Chris needed to improve on this upcoming season was his yards after catch. And I believe he did that. We saw him take the ball and get up the field more this season. We didn't just see him catch the ball and fall down. Now, the third most ran route against the NFC South was the out route. He was targeted 23 times. Excuse me. He ran that route 23 times. He was targeted 9 times. He came away with 6 catches for 39 yards. No touchdowns, but his catch percentage on out routes was 66.7%. It's a great percentage. The crossing route, he ran that 19 times. He was targeted 2 times. He caught 1 for 18. Dig routes, he ran dig routes 14 times, targeted 2 times, 1 for 16. Post routes, money route, big play route, 13 times he ran the post. He was targeted 4 times. He came away with 3 catches for 48 yards. And the slant route, which was his money route. We are talking about during the season, we need that big body receiver. We miss Mike T with that big body catching slants. Hell, he didn't run a lot, and he can't because of his slender build and his body type, and of course his concussion history. But they called 11 slants for Chris Olave this past season. He was targeted 4 times on those slants, and he caught all 4 passes. Corner routes, he ran a corner route 10 times, and he was not targeted at all. Screens, he ran screens 6 times. He had 3 receptions. He had 3 targets. He made all 3 receptions for 9 yards. And in the flat, he was targeted. He ran that 3 times. He was targeted 1 time for 7 yards. So you see the way that Chris Olave was used this past season. Hitch, goes, outs, and crossing were his top 4. But mainly the hitch route, the go route, and the out route. What this tells me is we know Chris is capable of running the route tree. Is it just the offense that Kellen Moore was running? Was this their way of protecting Chris, keeping him from injury, lessening the chance of him getting injured? You got the hitch, go, out route. They only called a crossing route for Chris 19 times this season. The dig 14, the post 13, and the slant 11. What's your thoughts, family? When you look at this chart and you're seeing this chart right here, do you think it was the Saints and Kellen Moore kind of honing Chris Olave in as far as trying to protect him from the possibility of taking unnecessary hits with his injury history of concussions? I, for one, think it was. Let's talk. Randy's talking about the draft. Randy says, I've been watching a lot of Jeremiah Love highlights, add his versatility to our offense, and Olave will feast. Every year, we all have that draft crush, and every year the Saints don't get that player. And I'm talking about as a majority as Who That Nation. Right now, there is it's undeniable how talented and what a difference and what a spark Jeremiah Love would be to the New Orleans Saints offense. My thing is this, family. I don't think he's going to be there at number 8. I believe if the Saints do want Jeremiah Love, they're going to have to move up in the draft to get him. Because think about this. There's really only one, according to the pundits, there's really only one quarterback worth drafting in the first round, and that's Fernando Mendoza. I got my speculations. I think he's one who's benefiting from this crop of quarterbacks in this year's draft. Not saying the kid's not good. I just don't think he's the number one quarter. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I'm gonna put it like that. I don't. He proved me wrong. He proved me wrong. I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. But again, if the Saints want Jeremiah Love, the Saints will have to move up to get Jeremiah Love. Jets, if you're the Jets, is there a quarterback you want to bring into the building with the number 2 pick in the draft? No. Jeremiah Love, to go with Wilson, to go with Taylor at tight end. Now you're working with something. That's what I'm saying, family. Then you're working with something new. Then let's think about the Tennessee Titans. What does Cam Ward need? He needs weapons. He needs a bona fide dog in the backfield. Listen, whoever gets Jeremiah Love, that's in semblance to getting a Christian McCaffrey, a B. John Robinson, Alvin Kamara. Now, if the Saints were fortunate enough to get Jeremiah Love and bring him into the building, to have him and Alvin together as a tandem in the backfield, and you will not have to change one single thing because of their talent. Again, Jeremiah Love, he's a Jahmyr Gibbs type. He's a B. John Robinson. He's a Christian McCaffrey. He's an Alvin Kamara. He's a James Cook. He's all that. Bottled into one. The kid may be the second best player in this draft. Now, to me, of all positions, and I'm in the early process of looking at this draft, but to me, the best player in this draft is Caleb Downs from Ohio State. To me, Caleb Downs is the best player in this draft. Now, I've watched some of the shows talking about the draft, and I've heard those who are well respected in the industry say that Mendoza not only is the best quarterback, he's the best player in the draft. With all due respect, that's BS. He is not the best player in this draft. He is not. Just because he's a quarterback, just because you guys have him going number 1 overall to the Raiders, does not mean he's the best player in the draft. And it's not even about Mendoza. It's about, that's what they do to quarterbacks every year. They try to call, especially if it's it was a Trevor Lawrence, it was a who else came on? Joe Burrow. It was trying to think who came out big as a number 1. Cam Ward last year. Hell, I don't even think did they call Cam Ward the number 1 overall player in the draft? But you know what they do. Again, for all those who love Fernando Mendoza, I don't hate or dislike the kid. The kid's a winner. In fact, I say it, and I'm gonna say it again. To me, he is a much, much better version of Tim Tebow. That's it. That's my comp. Because his passing mechanics are better. But again, that's not saying a lot compared to the passing mechanics of Tim Tebow. Then you got to look at who he was thrown to. Great set of raw receivers, had a great running game. But hell, if the starter didn't get hurt, he wouldn't even started this season. That's not a knock against the kid, because it's all about taking advantage of the opportunity when it arises. And damn it, did he excuse me. Damn it, did that kid do it. He took full advantage of it. And he's a likable kid, just like Tim Tebow was. Just don't see. And just like the pundits who get all the air, who have earned the right to say and make the comments and give the analysis that they do, they are wrong. Remember, the draft it's not a exact science. It's not. So with that being said, I don't think right now I feel like the Raiders, because they need a quarterback, are going to take him number one. It's almost a foregone conclusion. So right now, really, it's the Jets who are on the clock, not the Raiders. And my thing is, since we all know right now they taking Mendoza, when the draft does roll around, don't take up the whole damn 10 minutes to make the selection that we all knew is that is evident, that's going to happen, man. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But getting back to our guy on the day we're talking about right now, we're talking about Chris Olave, man. That's his screen passes. He ran 6 screen routes this year. He was targeted 3 times, 3 catches, 100% on screens, flat. He only ran the flat route 3 times. He was targeted 1 time. Came away with 7 catches on those flat routes. And I'm gonna leave that route tree up there for Chris Olave. So when you think about Chris Olave's performance against different coverages, and especially against the NFC South, against Carolina this past season, he dominated. He had 189 catches. Excuse me, 100. That'd be really dominating, dog. That'll even be beyond Madden. He had 189 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2 games. He averaged 94.5 yards a game, and he had an elite 2.95 yards per reception average. So he really went in against the Carolina Panthers. Now, who he struggled against would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He struggled against the Buccaneers this past season against Tampa Bay. Chris Olave only had 93 yards in 2 games, despite running 85 routes. So Tampa was able to contain Chris Olave. But we know that there was no Devon Valley. This is where that complimentary receiver comes into play. This is where that slot receiver comes into play. That number 2, that number 3, and even your number 4 receiver. This is where they come into play. It was simple. Roll the coverage. No doubt they rolled the coverage to Chris Olave's side and say, hey, there's no Devon Valley. We're not afraid of what you have behind Chris Olave. We're not going to let Chris Olave beat us. And they didn't. Now, when you break down his route tree breakdown, of course, again, the hitch was his most frequent route. He was reliable. He was a reliable short option with a 75% catch radius on hitch routes, on hitch routes. 40 times he ran the go route. Primarily, we know what the go is, just deep. Most productive per route. Then there was the out route, which is a secondary intermediate option. He had that 66% catch rate on that. His most efficient route, though, was the slants. 100% catch rate, average 3.5 yards a route and 1 touchdown. His most explosive was the post route. 3.69 yards a route, 75% catch radius. Not bad. So when we break down his route efficiency, his best route was the post. The post at 3.69 yards of reception, the slant at 3.5 yards of reception, and the go at 2.6 yards of reception. His money route was the slant, the screen, and the flat. His hitch and go routes make up 45% of all his routes. So when we analyze Chris Olave's all-pro season, we had a mixed result against his NFC South opponents in 2025, though he absolutely dominated against Carolina with the 189 and 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay's defense, however, they held Chris in check with the 93 yards on 85 routes. Now, Chris's route tree shows that he is exceptionally versatile. And we see this in the versatility with the routes that he runs. While the hitch was his most run route, his most explosive production came on the vertical routes like the go routes and the post. The slant was his money route. Coach, he was 100% there with a touchdown, making it a high percentage option that they went to in division games. So, in conclusion, family, Chris Olave's 2025 All-Pro season was well earned. Going into the final year of his contract, of course, the Saints option of picking up. He's under contract for 2026. They will have the option of picking up his contract, giving him the 5th-year option, which I'm sure they will do if and only if they cannot work out a new contract with Chris. So that's going to be a wrap for today's breakdown, family. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm your boy, Dolph Jackson. This is the Come On In Sports Network. This is the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. And before we get out of here, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to open the lines. I see my boy Jerry's in the building. Randy's in the building. Blaze, just Blaze. I see you. Acadiana Special Athletes is in the building. Come on in. I see you, baby. You see his website right there. Go ahead and subscribe. All right. Blaze, that's our boy, just Blaze. All right, same website. So that's family right there. Again, family, let me put the link in. I want your thoughts. Let me know in the chat. Let me know about your thoughts on Chris Olave's season. Do you think Chris Olave gets the extension this season? Or do you think the Saints allow him to play this 2026 season out, then decide whether to give him a long-term contract or to exercise that 5th-year option? I, for one, I think they're going to get it done, man. It was reports earlier this month and last month that the Saints and Olave's people working and to try to get a deal done, and it could be done. We know once the new league year starts, man. So I, for one, and I am anticipating that Chris Olave will have a new contract for the 2026 season. I'm hoping for a healthy Devon Vele. I'm curious to see what Jalen Pope can bring to this team. I'm curious to see what the Saints would do in the draft. Would they bring a young wide receiver in round 2 or round 3? I don't think the Saints go wide receiver in the first round. I could be wrong, but to me, I wouldn't go wide receiver in the first round. I wouldn't. I know you guys are saying, man, you got Tate, man. You wouldn't take Cornell Tate? I'm telling you, I wouldn't. If that's what the Saints want to do, cool, and I'm going to roll with it. But I think with Olave, Devon Vele, got Jalen Pope coming, this wide receiver group this year in the NFL draft, I believe is better than being advertised. I believe you can get a good wide receiver day 2, day 3 that can come in and contribute. To me, Devon Vele, as I keep mentioning his name, he's wide receiver 2. Who's going to be that all-important wide receiver 3? No matter who it is, you got to block. I think that's a lot of times that we overlook the ability to block and don't appreciate the ability by a receiver to block. That's how a lot of those long runs get sprung. If you got a wide receiver who's willing on a consistent basis to stick his nose in there and do the dirty work of blocking, those are the guys that don't get the love or the pub that they should from the media and from fans in general, but from their teammates and those who know the ins and out of NFL football. They see them. They understand their value. So blocking wide receiver, blocking tight end, all around tight end. Those are some things that I think are necessary for the Saints moving forward. All right. It says, still won't go anywhere. Go Bears. What's up, BCJ 1973? What's going on, brother? I hear you. All right, send Saints to the UFL Spring Football League. I got you, man. Hey, man, y'all made the first playoff for the first time in a long time, man. You got a hell of a head coach, man. You got a young stud at quarterback, man. You deserve to talk, man. Go ahead on, man. Enjoy. I ain't gonna come back at you with nothing, bro. I'm not even gonna come back at you with nothing, man. Thank you for being here, my brother. JT, how you doing? Come on in. Blessings to you, my brother. JT is in the building. All right, let me get that link up, man, because I want to hear from y'all, man. Listen, we talk Saints, we can talk NFL, whatever you want to talk, family. We can do it right now. So let me get that up there for you. Here's the link. The link is in the chat. If you'd like to come on. How long I'll be on depends on you. But hey, there's the link in the chat if you want to come on. Let's discuss. That's the link right there. Let's discuss Saints football. But again, Chris Olave's 2025 All-Pro season, man. Well-deserved. The young man had a hell of a season this past year, man. Finished really strong. Him and Tyler Shuck, man. They developed a great chemistry. Again, he joined the 100 reception club with exactly 100 catches this year. He is clearly wide receiver one for the Saints. He was targeted a total of 156 times this past season. He finished the year with 1,163 yards. He averaged 72.7 yards a game. He had 9 touchdowns, shows consistent scoring ability in the red zone. 9 touchdowns shows consistent scoring ability in the red zone. He was solidly efficient with a 1.98 YPR, which is above average for high volume wide receivers. And as a deep threat, but how should I put this? I had it all figured out on my mind when I was preparing for the show, but now you know how it happens sometimes. His 11.88 DOT indicates he's used on intermediate to deep routes the most. So, man, again, Chris Olave had an excellent 25 season, 156 targets, 100 catches, reliable hands, 64% catch rate. That's just great. He's producing despite being the defense's primary focus. He still produced 11.8 yards of depth on the target. Shows he's not just a check down option. But Chris Olave, again, this year showed that he was a guy capable, which we all knew coming out of college, of taking the top of the defense. And I'm looking forward to more of that this coming season from Chris Olave. Now, early this week, I released a video talking about the Saints' success rate on first down. So, and I'm going to go ahead on, I'm going to rehash that for those of you who may have missed it. This past season, the Saints' success rate in wins versus losses, I wanted to look at the Saints' success rate on first down. It's easy to look at, not easy, but a lot of us mainly pay attention to team success rate on third down, which normally tells the story of a game. Well, this past season, the Saints showed a 17.28% success rate on first downs in games which they won, but in games that they lost, they had a 14.77% during the season. So in games that the Saints lost, Again, the Saints lost 11 games this past season. The Saints ran, in those 11 games that they lost, the Saints ran 298 first down plays. I'm going to say that again. In the 11 games the Saints lost, they had first down 298 times, and they were only able to convert that first down into, they were only able to convert a first down into another first down 44 times, which was for only a 14.77% clip. So that wasn't good. All right, he's coming in. Our favorite uncle's in the building. Uncle Jerry, man, what's going on, Jerry? Jerry, you there? All right, Jerry will check in a minute. But again, getting back to what we were talking about. So the Saints were better in efficiency in the games that they won. So in the 6 games that the Saints won, they had first down 162 times in those 6 games. They were able to convert 28 of the 162 first down plays into another first down, which was a success rate of 17.28% on the season. So the Saints ran nearly twice as many first down plays and losses. Did you notice that? They ran twice as many plays and losses, 298, compared to 162 that they did in games that they won. Now, what this would suggest is that they were likely playing from behind, which they were more often than not. And also, it was requiring the offense to have more possessions, or the defense struggled to get off the field. And early on in the season, the defense struggled to get off the field on third down, especially on third and longs. They were struggling to get off the field. So all of these led to the Saints' inefficiency in the games that they lost on first down. Now, the overall struggles with the Saints, you think about it like this. You can look at the success rates are relatively low, under 18%, which indicates the Saints had difficulty sustaining drives. And look, we're going to say it like that. When Spencer Rattler was quarterback, they had problems sustaining drives. Tyler Shuck came in, they got better, but they still had problems sustaining drives, especially on first down throughout the entire season. Regardless of the outcome of the game, they struggled there. This was a consistent offensive challenge the entire season, and this helped lead to the Saints' 6-11 record. Now, the data shows that while first down efficiency was marginally better in wins, the Saints' overall inability to consistently move the chains on first down was a season-long issue that contributed to their losing record. And that's just facts. It was. So you always heard me say, man, success on first down. You don't want to take a negative play on first down. 2nd and 10, okay, you had to throw the ball away. Okay, I don't want 2nd and 11, 2nd and 13, 15, 2nd and 20. You got to get ahead of the chains on first down. And the Saints were unable to consistently do that. Of course, they were the lowest scoring team in the first quarter. They were the worst team in red zone efficiency and red zone scoring in the entire league. And they got off, the starts that this team got off, they got off to horrid starts the entire season. And it seemed like it was something that they never could quite get right the entire season. So though we all are feeling good at the close of this season, going 5-4, we got to remember this team did finish 6-11. this team still has a lot of holes. They still have a lot of areas that need to be fixed. The 2025 draft class has helped speed this rebuild process along. Let's see if they can build on this season that Dale had. And will we have any significant, if any, sophomore slumps this upcoming season? And by the way, the 2025 class will be getting back defensive tackle Vernon Broughton from the University of Texas. And coach, the young man got hurt early in the season, but he'll be back up front. So very anxious to see what he can bring to the 2026 New Orleans Saints. Let's see. Jerry, you there? Let's see. Let me see if Jerry's still there. Hey, Jerry, you there?
Yes, sir, Dolph. I'm here.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, Dolph?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Decided to come on and talk a little Saints football, man. Talk to your boy, Dolph, man.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you came on. Hope all is well, my brother.
Yes, sir. I'm on the right side of the dirt, bro, so I ain't gonna complain.
Amen to that.
Yes,
it's just another blessing, brother. But
that's it. Most definitely.
But everything you're saying, Dolph, I mean, I was hearing everything. Well, you already know me and you on the same page when we talk about it, because you've been saying this for about the last year or two. It starts with that offensive lineman.
Yeah.
It starts with that offensive lineman, because we've been having struggles with that.
Right.
So and that's why we always pick the offensive lineman in the first round of the draft, because you need some, because now you got Fuaga, now you got Banks, you got them other guys that if you add some more pieces around Shug, you think Shug had a good second half of the season? Wait till he become officially QB1 and take over the entire season with that new rejuvenated offensive lineman.
Right. Yeah, so, I believe the Saints can take a piece from what the Chicago Bears did. Mm-hmm. The Bears, when you think about it, they identified that, hey, we got a young quarterback, mm-hmm. and we had pressure up the middle. We had problems up the middle. So what do? They go out, they get 2 proven veteran, 1 all-pro guard, another Pro Bowl guard, and they solidify that front for their young quarterback, and we see what happened this past season. Now, talking about the Saints, and there's been a little smoke this week about the Saints may be open to trading Cesar Ruiz this season.
That would be good.
Right. Well, this past season, so let's deep dive into Cesar a little bit. This season, Cesar had a 26.19% success rate during the regular season. Mm-hmm. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of you. Significantly outperforming the New Orleans Saints overall team success rate of 15.65%. Now, here's the thing. Cesar this past season, he was involved in 817 plays this season. On the 817 plays that Cesar was on the field, the Saints gained 214 first downs, mm-hmm. for a success rate of 26.19%. Now, that 26.19 success rate placed him in the same tier as the Super Bowl teams. I'm telling y'all, this is what the facts say. This is it. This is true. I know y'all like, what? Caesar? Again, elite individual performance. Ruiz's 26.19% success rate places him in the same tier as the Super Bowl teams. The Seahawks, 25.32%, the Patriots, 23.16%, and a 10.54 percentage and that's 10.54 percentage points higher than the Saints' overall team rate of 15.65. Now, the impact that Caesar had on the Saints' offensive line. The vast majority of the team, he was on the field for the vast majority of the team snaps. We knew he went through that little injury spell that he had. But when Caesar was on the offensive line, they performed better with him in there. They were more efficient when he was in there. Now, a lot of you are saying, man, I don't care what those things say. He is just horrible. What he is, as you guys always hear me say, he is highly inconsistent and frustrates you. Because we know the kid's talented. Every player in the NFL is talented. It's all about consistency with him. When he does lose, it's just the way it looks. It looks bad. It's a lack of mechanics. It's almost like he has a brain freeze. Or I'm never gonna purposely say that someone takes a play off or took a play off unless it's just something that consistently pops out to me. I don't see him as a player that takes plays off. I see him as a player who at times gets lazy in his techniques, and it hurts him.
Right.
So when you think about this, Jerry, despite his strong individual performance at a championship caliber, the Saints still finished 6-11. So other offensive line positions may have been weaker than what Caesar was. And we can go to the other guard position. Dylan Rayons or Cesar Reeves, who was the weaker? We know the answer to that.
Okay. Well,
the execution at the skill positions. When you lose Devon Valet, you trade Rashid Shaheed, you lose Foster Monroe, you lose Devon Valet, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
You're losing playmakers. That hurts.
Yep.
So the team's overall struggles weren't just due to the pole play or the inconsistent pole play. Hold on, how should I put this? The team struggles weren't due simply because of Cesar Ruiz's inconsistency. It was a total team effort by everybody. But it's just, hey, when he did mess up, it was so obvious, man. It just jumped out to you. And most of the time, when an offensive lineman's name isn't called in the game, is good. But when you go back and you look at film, or you go and you look at a play, and you're like, damn, he gave that pressure up too quick, too easy. That's different. And there were times during the season, again, with Caesar, man, it was like, man, what are you thinking? And there were some plays this season where it looked like it was on Caesar, but in reality, you go and you look at the film, it wasn't. It was on Talisi Fuaga. It was on the center. It was on the back. It was on the tight end. Again, a total team effort. So, again, when you compare the Saints win, 17.28 success rate, a 14.77 success rate in the losses, and Cesar Reed 26.19 success rate. He exceeded the Saints success rates in games they won. Now, the data would say that he was a consistent bright spot. He was not. He was not, and we know he wasn't. And it says that he performed at an elite level. Now, could these numbers make another team around the league say, hey, Saints don't want him, we'll take him? And we know, even Mickey Loomis, he called Cesar Ruiz out. We got to get more from him. So how much fire Is it to the smoke of the Saints being open to trade Cesar Ruiz? What is his value around the league? If my calculations are right, if the research I've done is correct, they may be a better, bigger market for Cesar Ruiz than we think. Could the Saints possibly get a late day 2 pick for Cesar Ruiz or early day 4 pick for Cesar Ruiz? How many of you will go for that? But understand this: to trade Cesar Ruiz would mean that both guard positions, again, like him or not, he is a starting quality right guard in the National Football League. If you trade him, what do you have to replace him? Are we going to go in the draft and get 2 rookie guards? Are you going to go in free? How aggressive would the Saints be in free agency? Will they go after one of the top veteran guards who would be available this season and trade Cesar Ruiz? Or will they get that veteran guard and place him at left guard and keep Cesar? Again, I'm sure if they get a offer they can't refuse, I could see them moving on from Cesar. Maybe they sign 2 veteran guards and bring 2 veteran guards in this offseason and still draft them a young guard, maybe in the 3rd round or day 3 in the 4th or 5th round to bring in. Look, we still have not got anything from Nick Saldiveri. And at this point, because he cannot stay on the field, get on the field, y'all know we don't like using that word, but the kid is bordering on being a bust. And that's just facts with that. So Cesar Ruiz was just a player that I wanted to look at right quick, family. So Jerry, how would you feel, Jerry, if the Saints were to move on from Cesar Ruiz? What would you want to see them do? Yo, Jerry, there? All right, Jerry's paused. So I'll pose the question to you, family. What would you want to see the Saints do if they decided to move on for Cesar Ruiz? Do you think first they need to have veterans in the building, a veteran ready to take that slot that Cesar will make, that will occur if they move on from Cesar Ruiz? Or should they concentrate heavily on most definitely bringing in a left guard? Because right now, I believe left guard is more of a need than right guard for the Saints. I believe left guard is more of a need than right guard right now for the Saints. Again, if somebody knocks on the door and they give you an offer you can't refuse for Cesar, you jump on it, you take it. We're still rebuilding. We still just finished 6-11. We still have a young quarterback who's going into year 2 who only played 9 games last year. 9 games that has awakened the Who Dat Nation, that has us hoping and believing. Now he will get all the offseason reps. Now the Saints must build a team around him, must get him weapons, not just on the offensive side of the ball, because building around a young quarterback does not mean just offense. It means the defensive side of the ball too. So don't be surprised if the first pick for the Saints in this year's 2026 NFL draft is on defense. And I'm talking about all 3 levels: defensive line, linebacker, and in the secondary. And we all know who they are. Now, when we start thinking about some of the defensive linemen, let's just talk about defensive linemen who the Saints could possibly go out. We all know about Caleb Banks. If you don't know about big Caleb Banks, 6'6", 335 pounds, from the University of Florida. Let me share the screen with you. Let's talk about Caleb Banks right quick. Again, thank you all for being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. This is the Keeping It Real Who That Sports Podcast. This is your Saints Juice of the Day. I'm your boy, Dolph Jackson, and we're live, baby. We're talking Saints football on a Sunday, getting ready. All right. Here's one of my favorites, and I believe this ain't no believe this young man will be gone in the first round. Caleb Banks, 6'6", 335. He will be 22 years old on draft day. He is a stout. This is a scouting report on him. Versatile interior defender with run game reliability. He shows strong point of attack, power, violent hands, and functional interior rush ability. That he does. Now, his pad, and then remember, we're talking about interior defensive linemen. It's not normal for interior defensive linemen to have double-digit sacks or approach double-digit sacks. That does not always signify that a interior defensive lineman is being productive. Remember, as an interior defensive lineman, your job is to eat up blocks, be stout against the run, and free up your linebackers so they can flow to the ball with as least obstacles in front of them as possible. As you can see, missed tackle, total tackles, he's 100%. Pressure rate, and this breaks it down by the gaps. The B gap, he had a pressure rate of 6.9%. C gap, 7.7%. And the D gap, which on outside the tight end, which he didn't line most of the time. If you're attacking the D gap, you're lining up at a D end. So he is strictly interior defensive lineman. Again, that's Caleb Banks, 6'6", 335 pounds. Probably the number one, not probably, I'm gonna call him. No, probably he's in consideration for the number one defensive lineman in this year's draft. Then there's you got Caden McDonald here, young man from Ohio State, 6'3", 326 pounds. He'll be 20 years old on draft day. Quick scout report on him. He is strong. He's a tough interior defender with run stopping impact. Do we not need that? Do the Saints not need that? He shows dominant point of attack strength, sound hand placement, and effective bull rush push. Collapsing that pocket for that quarterback. Where do quarterbacks hate to get pressure the most? Right in their face, directly up the middle of the field. And I'm talking and I ain't put it on the screen. Hold on. There we go. Let me get this up here for you. There we go. Now we're talking. I'm just talking away, man. I'm like, hold on. They ain't seen this, Dolph. Got to let them see it, baby. All right. So that's Caden McDonald. And then I'm going to go back to Caleb. This is Caden McDonald. I'm going to go back to Caleb Banks. All right. So here with Caden McDonald right here. Again, strong, tough interior defender, run stopping impact. We got to get more stout against the run. I still believe the Saints were pushed around a bit up front. I would like to see Jonathan Bullard brought back, as well as Williams brought back also. But you can add a young kid here and Caden McDonald from Ohio State, 6'3", 326 pounds, as you can see. He has sound hand placement. He has an effective bull rush. Now, let me go back. Peter Woods and I think this is a kid that he's only going to be 21 on draft day, but I think this is a kid who flashes a lot. And I believe if he goes, I got to look at the list. I haven't looked at the list yet for those who have been invited to Indianapolis. But if Peter Woods has been invited to Indianapolis and he goes and he tests as well, I believe he's a mid to late first round pick. Now, Woods is powerful, versatile, with run stopping impact. He shows violent hands. That's as a defender. That's what you want from your defensive lineman. Violent with their hands at the point of a good point of attack strength and a pocket collapsing bull rush. What do we say? Quarterbacks hate pressure. Well, directly in their face. And I don't think this season the Saints affected quarterbacks enough directly in their face. Again, we got to get better with the interior of stopping the run, but also with the interior pressure of collapsing the pocket on the quarterback. So Peter Woods is one also to look at. And of course, the first kid we looked at was Caleb Banks. And again, I saw him at the Senior Bowl. I'm telling y'all, family, he is that. I'm telling you, he is that. This kid here, very quick, powerful, has counter moves, man. He shows a strong part of attack. His hands are really good, and he shows the ability to get to the quarterback from the interior. Caleb Banks, to me right now, going into Indianapolis, is the #1 interior defensive lineman in this draft. If not, he's 1A or 1B. Now, the top interior defensive lineman in this draft may be Lee Hunter, man. Lee Hunter is he's nasty. He's a nasty player. Big body interior run defender with power presence. He shows strong hand placements at point of attack, anchor, and a functional bull rush. Straight bull rush. Now, what I think he's gonna have to work on, he's gonna have to work on him on the counter move. Because you're not going to always be able to just bull rush these centers in the NFL. They're too smart. They're too technically sound. So he's going to have to get counter moves. He's going to have to get better with getting the offensive lineman's hands off him and get he's quick off the ball for his size, but I think he can if he can be just a hair snap a little quicker, man, improve his explosiveness. He's gonna be a problem in the NFL, man. He has, to me, the ability to dominate and make an impact on games like Davis does for the Eagles. That's what I see in him and Caleb Banks. To me, they're 1A and 1B in this year's NFL draft. All right. Let's see. They got a 6th round for Penny, so a 3rd for Nah, Tim, I'm just saying in general. I don't. Oh, now listen. But you got to remember this though, Tim. The value of how Penning was looked upon around the league is totally different than Cesar Ruiz is. Remember about 2 years ago when there was rumors about the Texans possibly wanting to get Cesar Ruiz? That wasn't just smoke, man. But the Saints, they decided to hold on to Cesar because they didn't like what they were being offered. But Cesar, I'm telling you, talking to people who cover the league, who I have the fortunate ability to be able to communicate with, Cesar Ruiz's value around the league is higher. It's much, much, much higher than Trevor Penny's could have ever been at this time. Now, they got a 6 for Trevor. That's what I'm saying. I see him getting, I'd say, listen, at the bottom of the 3rd, because you don't know how desperate the team is. But I could definitely see an early pick on day 3 in the 4th round for Cesar Ruiz. Again, former 1st rounder. He saw a 2nd contract. You get a 4th rounder for him. Okay. The thing is, what do you turn that for? What is that going to turn into for the Saints? Shad Hansen 739 say paper grocery sacks making a comeback. Man, will Saints let Derek Carr out of contract to allow a return to the retards? There is no chance in hell that Derek Carr returns to the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr doesn't want that, and the Saints don't want that. The Saints have the quarterback that they now intend to build around in Tyler Shuck. They're going to focus on that. And still remember, if he does unretire, and he has said that he will only come out of retire to play for a Super Bowl contender. What Super Bowl contender, and I mean this with all due respect. Listen, Derek Carr It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as a lot of us in Who That Nation make it out to be. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as some of us make it out to be. But my thing is this: what Super Bowl contending team right now, as we look around the landscape of the NFL, what Super Bowl contending team right now would you see Derek Carr fitting with that doesn't have that needs a quarterback? Would it be Indianapolis? No, I think they go re-sign Jones. Daniel Jones go re-sign. I think Daniel Jones re-signs with Indianapolis. So they're out. It won't be Jacksonville because Liam Cohn, he got the best out of Trevor Lawrence this season. It won't be there. They don't need him in Houston. So I'm just thinking about San Francisco definitely don't need him. The Rams don't need him. The Eagles don't need him. Who else made the playoffs that I'm missing? Buffalo don't need him. Broncos? No, they don't need him. They got Bo Nix. So what Super Bowl caliber team is there out there for Derek Carr to unretire and come back to? Now, if he's going back, if he's going to unretire to go back up, let's say Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, okay. Go unretire to go back up Josh Allen in Buffalo, okay. But Derek Carr, from all indication, is wanting to be a starter. There's not a Super Bowl contender right now that needs him. Now, a team that I can see him going to and starting, Minnesota. But would Derek Carr, being the quarterback of the Vikings, make them a Super Bowl contender compared to what they got now in J.J. McCarthy? Hell yeah, maybe. I think Derek Carr looked at what happened, and a lot of players have looked at what happened with Sam Darnold this year. Now, listen, Sam Darnold was not the reason for the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, but damn it, he was the reason for them getting there because he dueled with Matthew Stafford in the NFC Championship game. The man has won 28 regular season games the last 2 seasons. He's been in the playoffs 2 straight years, and his second year, the man has won the Super Bowl. I believe Derek Carr is looking at that. Where can I go? A team that has a championship caliber defense. If I'm a quarterback and I want to go somewhere where they got a championship caliber defense. If Derek Carr lose to the Raiders, he would become the first quarterback to ever lose to all 32 modern NFL franchises. Wow. Let's see. Jalen Hurts is the most underrated running back in the NFL. He said running back. I don't know, man, because that game where you have 0 passing yards, but you still win. I mean, but hell, say what you want. Jalen Hurts was a Super Bowl MVP. Both trips to the Super Bowl, both times. Arguably, he could and should be a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Because in that first Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, he outperformed Patrick Mahomes also. Just go back and watch it. Get out your feelings. Get over that. Go back and watch. Both times in the Super Bowl, he outperformed. I'm going to say it again. He outperformed Patrick Mahomes, and he should be a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. We can say what we want. You can never take that away from him. He was MVP in the 2025 Super Bowl for the 2024 season. He was the reason the Eagles won that game. Remember, They took Saquon Barkley away and put the game on Jalen Hurts, and he went out there and he delivered. Now, Jalen Hurts is just underrated as a quarterback. And damn it, he gives people ammunition sometimes. But again, on the big stage, the biggest stage there is for an NFL player, he's been on there twice, and twice he's answered the call. One time in victory being named the MVP, and one time in defeat outperforming the MVP. So that's where I'm at with Jalen Hurts as far as that goes. Randy says, I don't think a Super Bowl contending team is vouching for Carr unless he's willing to be a backup. That's where I'm at with Derek Carr. Are you willing to be a backup? That's all I'm at. Are you willing to be a backup? That's it. I don't see a scenario right now. I can look around the league and I don't see a place for Derek Carr on a Super Bowl contending team. Who would it be? Who would be that Super Bowl contending team for Derek Carr to go to? I'm about to go to NFL.com. Let's just go through the teams. All right. Bills. No. They back up. Baltimore. Back up. Texans. Back up. Broncos. Back up. Chiefs. Back up. Colts. Possibly. I'm telling you, that's the one place. Colts. Possibly. Remember, Daniel Jones got hurt. And the Colts season went straight downhill. Bengals back up. Dolphins. If the Dolphins sign Derek Carr, Sunshine, Southern State, warm weather. If they sign Derek Carr, would that propel them into a Super Bowl contender? Nope. I don't think so. Patriots? No. Browns? I'm going to keep going. Jaguars? Don't need them. A reunion with the Raiders? Will he go back to the Raiders? Could that happen? I know he would love it. There are many in Raider Nation who would love it. Then again, if he does go, would he accept being a placeholder? Because even let's say he comes out of retirement, Saints, and he'll work out something, and he goes back to Saints and Raiders, work out something where he goes back to the Raiders. He must understand that he is only there to mentor Fernando Mendoza until the Raiders feel it's time for Fernando Mendoza to make his debut as the quarterback of the future for the Raiders. Make no mistake, him going back to the Raiders does not make the Raiders a Super Bowl contender. When he was there all those years, he never made the Raiders a Super Bowl contender. What about the Jets? Would he go to New York? Jeremiah Love, you got Wilson, you got Taylor at tight end. He could make a difference for the Jets, I believe. I believe they didn't get the 6-7 wins with Derek Carr at quarterback for the Jets. But again, we're talking about Super Bowl caliber teams he say he'll come out for. I'm just mentioning teams right now. Steelers. They had Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers where he's at now, Derek Carr. Who would you take, Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr? Let me know right now. At their current state, who would you take, Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr? I'm saying right now, I'm saying Aaron Rodgers. Would Derek Carr have gotten Steelers further than they got this year with Aaron Rodgers? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Chargers, no. I believe this is a make or break season for Justin Herbert. Cowboys, no, he's not better than Dak. Bears, no. Now, here's a wild card. Here's a real wild card. What about the Atlanta Falcons? Is he better than Kirk Cousins? Would he propel the Falcons? I kind of look at that same thing when he came to the Saints. Falcons may have a little bit more offensively right now than the Saints. I would mind know a little bit. They do. No, y'all won't hear that, but they do. The Cardinals, they got to figure out what they gonna do with Kyler Murray. The Giants, they got their young quarterback. The Lions, they're good. The Panthers, Bryce Young, won the division this year. Damn, they'll beat the Rams in the playoffs. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, you'll be a backup for the Rams. No with the Eagles, no with the Packers. Hell no with the Saints. Hell no with the 49ers. Hell no with the Commanders. Hell no with the Bucks. Hell no with the Seahawks. The only viable options I see are the Vikings, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Really, in the NFC, I just see the Vikings as the most viable option for Derek Carr. And in the AFC, there's not a, unless you throw in the Colts. The Colts are the wild card. I just think that they want Daniel Jones back. But just for this conversation, I'm gonna throw in the Colts, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Vikings as the 4 teams I think would be viable options for Derek Carr. But you got to scratch at least two of those teams, because he did say on a Super Bowl caliber team. The Colts were the best team in the AFC for a number of weeks. The Vikings have one of the best, if not best, receivers in the football, hell of a defensive coordinator, hell of a defense. They may be a quarterback away. The quarterback that just won the Super Bowl won 14 games with them the prior year. So could he follow Sam Darnold and go to the Vikings? It's not out the realm of possibility. But the Vikings right now, I would say the Vikings and the Colts will be the most prominent landing areas for Derek Carr if we are talking about teams with the ability to go to the Super Bowl, as he stated, a Super Bowl caliber team. Randy says, you think the Jets will draft Love with Brees Hall on the roster? I think if they move on from Hall, Love might. That's what I was saying, Randy. I think Brees Hall will be moving on because of what went down this season. I think that it will be, what quarterback would they take? I'm telling you, as Saints fans, if you right now are in love with the possibility of having Jeremiah Love wearing that black and gold, baby, you got to worry about the Jets, okay? You got to worry about the Tennessee Titans needing a running back. You got to worry about the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, they'll trade up in front of the Saints. They did it before. You got to worry about the Kansas City Chiefs wanting a running back. You got to worry about, the Titans needing a running back. All right, hell, I believe the Steelers need a running back. But, of course, they're further down. They're in the 20s. In the NFC, who you look at? Could the Cowboys use Jeremiah Love? You damn well better believe they can. Though Williams had a hell of a season for him. Arizona, yes. Carolina, yes. Philly, no. Packers, no. Saints, yes. 49ers, no. Commanders, yes. Y'all with the Commanders. Vikings, I'm going to say that 1-2 point. I'm going to say yes to the Vikings. Buccaneers, I believe their running game is fine. The Seahawks running game, maybe, but they 32. They won't get them. They won't get them. But there are a number of teams who will be looking at Jeremiah Love this coming season. Yeah. Speaking about Carr and Cousins, Randy said they are both versatile, saying, yeah, I also thought, like I'm saying, I'm serious thinking about that Atlanta. No, but if I'm a Falcons, I saw you for a number of years, for several years with the Saints. I just think again, I don't think Derek Carr is a quarterback that elevates the play of the players around him. I think he's smart in saying that he only go to a Super Bowl caliber team. If he has to go to a team where he just has to be the final piece, not the guy that elevates everybody around him, not the savior, I believe he can flourish. Things can happen. All right. Josh Allen now has most postseason games without a Super Bowl appearance. Hey, it's not going to get any easier for the Bills. Like I said, where's New England going? They ain't going nowhere. They're just getting started. Patriots not going anywhere. When you look at the AFC, Ravens. Look for the Ravens to bounce back this year. Jaguars, I believe the Jags aren't going anywhere. Depending on what happens with the QB situation with the Colts, we know Patrick Mahomes will be back for the Chiefs. Then they got a high draft pick too. So they can imagine Jeremiah Love in the backfield on the Chiefs. You give Patrick Mahomes a weapon like that. Man, what about the Titans? I just see the Titans, man. The Titans, Jets, Chiefs. Hell, the Bengals. The Bengals can use a running back. So that's what I see. A number of teams needing a running back, and there's no question about who the number one running back in this year's draft is, man. And it's Jeremiah Love. It's Jeremiah Love, and it ain't even close. Then his teammate from Notre Dame, Jadarian Price, he may be number 2 or 3, depending on you're talking about. Then there's Jonah Coleman, the 5'9", 220-pound back from the University of Washington. Let me get we look at a quick scouting report on him. Let me get that up there for you. So here we are, Jonah right here. Jonah Coleman. Coleman is compact, physical runner with quality value. He shows very good pad level, balance through contact, and reliable pass catching skills. The thing that when I start looking at film on these top, like what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and look at the top 5 consensus prospects at each position. I'm going to look at film on them. And for running backs, what I'm going to be looking at most importantly is their ability to not only run the ball, but to catch the ball, but the most overlooked quality that will get them on the field or keep them off the field is their ability to pick up a blitzing linebacker, a blitzing safety or corner. Can they pass block? If you can't pass block, you kind of dictate to the defense what's going to happen when you come on the field. You got to be versatile. So Coleman, again, he's right now considered number 2 by many, and here's the consensus number 1 pick. He'll be just 20 years old the day of the draft, fam. Dynamic, well-rounded runner with starter caliber playmaking ability. He shows elite agility, balance through contact, and explosive speed with reliable pass game skills. Again, Jeremiah Love, Alvin Kamara, man, it's good to dream. And right now in this process, it's really good to dream, man. Is Love better than Genty in people's opinion? Man, I'm going to say Genty was special, man. I just think that it's the caliber where you put him in. I just think you put Jeremiah Love in that caliber of a Gibbs, of a B. John Robinson, man. Whatever team gets this kid, to me, they will have their version of that. Christian McCaffrey, you, Alvin Kamara, you will have your version of that, man. Because that kid is he's the type of player you want to get the ball in his hand as many times as you can. Because the kid's special, man. He's a special player with the ball in his hand. Jay Live, what's going on, Live? I have a lot of question marks with Love due to him never shining against quality opponents. Your thoughts? Well, it goes down to the center. If you're the center of that defense attention and the man under center is unable to get the job done, to loosen up coverage, to loosen up, to back the defense off, what are you, what is he going to do? But when you do look at that film against top caliber teams, don't just look at his yards per carry. Look at the game. Look at how many times he breaks tackles, how many on tackles he runs through. Does he get yards after contact? Is he constantly falling forward? Is he reading the holes correctly? Is he taking the right? Is he making the right decisions on where to go with the ball? If the initial hold isn't there, does he show the ability and the agility to bounce out, put this foot in the ground, and immediately dart upfield? So there's a lot to look at more than just the stats, But I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. But again, just look at the games, bro. Just look at the film. I ain't talking about all these highlights going around. Like just slow it down and just go to every time now on offense and he runs the ball and look at everything. Look at how the blocking was for him there. Was there an opportunity, a really true opportunity for him to have an opportunity to make a move, to make something happen? Or was he happening to, defend as soon as he touched the ball? So there's a lot to look into that. All right. See what else. Says hope and love doesn't fall to the Chiefs. He might not fall to the Chiefs. If he's still on the clock, if you're the Chiefs, would you not trade up? I'll trade up in a minute to get him. I think this kid's the game changer. I do. I think he's a game changer right now. And his teammate, let's look at his teammate. His teammate from Notre Dame, Jaden Price, 5'11", 210. He's an explosive, game changer pace runner with big playability. He shows burst through the hole, short cuts, functional toughness, and pass protection. What I was talking about, a kid like this can go in day 2, late in day 2, top of the 3rd, bottom of the 2nd, because how people want to undervalue the importance of running backs. Again, there's no other running back being spoken of being taken in the top 10, let alone the first round, other than Jeremiah Love, and there's with good reason. He's this year's B. John Robinson. He's this year's Jamil Gibbs. If you got a chance, he's this year's Ashton Genty. If you have an opportunity and it's there, you might want to take the opportunity to grab a player like this who can totally change your offense. Jeremiah Love. Imagine this. See, we dreaming this all season. Chuck under center. Jeremiah Love, the halfback behind him. Chris Olave, Javon Vele, Jawan Johnson, tight end. A 100% healthy Alvin Kamara lined up in the slot. Do you like your chances then? Where you going with the ball? Everyone I just named is a viable option. Everyone. But they won't be a viable option if you can't protect your young quarterback. Offensive line and free agency, to me, is a must. They must attack it and attack it hard. They got to get the right people up front in front of Tyler Show. They have to. But Jerrion Price, right now, by many publications and analysts, he's looked at as the number 3 running back in this year's draft. And again, this is just, we're talking about the draft right now and where they're ranked and all that. Nothing matters. No, it doesn't matter where you're selected. And y'all know where I'm going with this. All that matters is when you get to whatever team selects you, is what you do with that opportunity. Now, in Miami, again, I was talking about Miami. I can see, again, Derek Carr going to Miami. I mean, look, I believe that they're looking to move on for Tua. Tua himself has came out. I think a divorce is just intimate between Tua and the Dolphins. He even came out and say, hey, maybe a change would be good, not only for me, but for the organization, man. He's all but saying, man, yeah, get me the hell out of here. You know? Omarion Hampton Gentry, but needs to prove he can stay healthy. Gotcha. Are you talking about Price or are you talking about Love? Love says Andy Reid knows talent. Oh, yeah. Hell, we know talent. You know talent when you see it. And hey, Jeremiah Love is talent. Jalen Price is talent. Jerrion Price is talented. Let me get the names right. Jerrion Price is talented. But again, it's about health with him. No, you got to stay healthy, man. You cannot, the old saying, you can't help them in the tub. You cannot help a team if you're in the tub. Now, I said I was going to be on here for 45 minutes. I'm going to go for 2 hours, but I'm here. We talking football. We talking Saints. We talking whatever you want to talk. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to offensive line. I'm about to look up offensive line. Let's go to the interior of this offensive line, man. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. Brick wall. All right, so let's look at the offensive linemen right now. Now, the publication, let's see, what's this? Hold on, let me get it straight here. All right. That up there for you. All right. So right now, here are the consensus top offensive linemen in this year's draft. You got Francis from Miami, Penn State. Let me pronounce it. Y'all ready to have some fun? Watch your boy Dove. I'm about to butcher his name, bro. Let me get the kid's name right. Let me get it right. We all get it right.
Ale Vavaganayain.
Olave. All right, hold on. Did y'all hear that? I went to Google, start speaking, baby. I'm trying.
Ale Vavaganayain.
Ale Vega Gaane. 6'4", 328 pounds. This young man would be 23 years old at the time of the draft. Massive physical guard. What we need? Left side. Physical guard with dominant run blocking presence. I'm going to read that again. Massive physical guard with dominant run blocking presence. Shows heavy hands, powerful leg drive, stout ankle strength, and pass protection. 6'4", 328. Hey, but do you take a guard? If the Saints were to take, let's say Francis. Francis is a big athletic offensive tackle. So, Francis is a tackle. We don't need tackle. Tackle is not an option. But we need this. We need a guard. Let's go to Caleb. Caleb Lemieux from Utah. He's long, lean. He's a tackle, though. We don't need a tackle. We need guards. Here we go. Emmanuel Pregnon. Now, Pregnon, by a lot of people, is considered the #1 guard. Rangy, athletic guard with starting versatility. Shows strong mirroring, effective ankle versus power, and a range in zone schemes. So able to get out in front, lead the way, able to pull. He's good in space. Could that be something that Kellen Moore takes advantage of? We see that with Caesar. Pulling, getting out in space. Put him on the left side, Caesar on the right side. If the Saints keep Caesar or don't bring anyone else in, and you put Emmanuel up there on that offensive line. Very athletic. All of a sudden, you got athletic guards, very athletic guards. And he will be an upgrade from Dylan Rayons, who I believe is a backup. Isn't Dylan Rayons? I don't want to see 14, 15, 13 times a season starting for the Saints. It ain't good. It ain't terrible. It wasn't, and it ain't Ali Udo. My goodness. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, so those are the consensus goals right there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Lyle says, I hope Emmanuel will be available in the second round. I don't see it, Lyle. Because you think about it, man. When you look at the teams that can use offensive line help, it's the entire NFL, really, that can use offensive line help, man. I don't think Emmanuel is going to be there a lot. I think he's definitely going to be gone. I think those top four offensive linemen, once you get the top skill, you get Mendoza coming off, you get Downs. I think one of these, matter of fact, I think two of the offensive linemen will go before the first pass rusher goes off the board. I just do. And I'm torn on Orville Reese. I watched a film study on him, courtesy of East Coast, my boy Dante, man. I knew it changed it to the Apex, man. Breakdown of Orville Reese, man. And I'm telling you, looking at film on Orville Reese, man, he is a strictly speed rusher. And he uses that speed and athleticism, but I don't see any counter moves. I think a lot of times he gets washed out. If you put him at defensive end and it's not a passing situation, I think he gets washed out a lot on the run. So he'll have to become more stout against the run. I think he's an off-ball linebacker that you rush on third downs. But if you are drafting him with the mindset of playing him as an every down defensive end, I don't think it's going to go well. I don't. Hell, he got the versatility to actually play safety too. Real talk. That's how athletic he is. But as a DN with his hand in the ground, as an every down DN, I think he's going to struggle. That's just my assessment, man. I think he's going to struggle. No. All right. All right, family. Let's go do it for the day. Your boy Dog go get on out of here, man. Just wanted to come to y'all. Again, we started the show off talking about Chris Olave's all-pro season, man. We went behind the stats, man. We saw the route concepts that he ran, his favorite route concept. And here's the route concepts for everyone who wasn't with us earlier. For Chris Olave, man, you can see against cover 3, he ran 47 routes, 7 catches, 115 yards. Cover 1, he ate on cover 1. On 35 routes, he had 12 catches, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cover 4, he ran routes against cover 4 25 times, 4 catches for 42. Against cover 2, he had 4 catches for 59 yards. he ran routes against cover 2 23 times. But cover 3, cover 1, cover 4, cover 2, Chris Olave was successful. But man, cover 1, he really ate on cover 1 and cover 3. And we got to think he has to improve his route tree, though. His route tree has to improve. And here's his route tree breakdown. The hitch and go route, those were the routes that they used the most, out route 23 times. And I asked the question, I asked again, as we get out of here, I ask you to please leave your comments about this show, any comments, any questions you have. It'll help us grow here on the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast, and it'll help us grow here on the Come On In Sports Network. I believe, looking at this route tree, I'm under the impression that these routes here were specifically designed or called or tailored to Chris Olave, not because of his lack of ability to run the other routes, but because of his injury history. And I believe that Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier ran him more with hitch and go and out routes, because those were the routes that were less, those were the routes that gave him less chance of getting injured with his history of concussions. You know, crossing routes, he did run crossing routes 19 times, digs 14, posts, he ran 13 times. He had 3 catches for 48 on those. And listen, he ran the slant only 4 times, but he had 4 catches on those routes for 39 yards and a touchdown. So again, Chris Olave's all-pro season, man, it was no fluke. Chris Olave earned his all-pro honors. Him and Tyler Shough developed chemistry, and I like you want to see that continue to develop over the years. I want to see who would be the number 2 receiver, the number 3 receiver for the Saints. I believe a healthy Devon Vele, he is number 2 right now. And I would like to see the Saints get a number 3 receiver in the building. Jalen Pope, again, ready to see, anxious to see what he can do. Who will the Saints bring in the draft? And hell, don't forget, we still got Trey Palmer, who we traded for. He was hurt most of the year. So Trey Palmer, would he be that wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 5? Only time will tell, family. Again, thank you all for being here. Again, this has been your Saints Juice of the day. This is the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. We're sponsored by the Come On In Sports Network. Thank you all for being here. And remember, family, the doors are always open. So come on in. And like we always do when we get out of here, love and who that. And we out. Have a good day, family.
Yeah. We back, baby. Keeping it real. Who That Sports Pod. Dolph Jackson, Coach Rock. Presented by the Come On In Sports Network. Who That Nation, how you doing? Come on in. Take a seat, it's all good, you're amongst friends. Breaking news, interviews, Saints Juice. Open lines up just for you. 9th Ward, 10th Ward, where you at? 12th Ward, 15, where you at? 3rd Ward, 17, where you at? 9th Ward, all the way in the back. Uptown, baby, downtown, baby. Everybody represent black and gold, baby. Uptown, baby, downtown, baby. Everybody represent black and gold, baby. Who that? Who that? Who that Saints?